Previously, on Horror on Cedar Block. The blood in Cedar Block has always whispered, but now it screams. Sam Carter discovers a journal revealing a forbidden love between his ancestor and a powerful voodoo queen, Seraphine, a union cursed to echo through generations. As Mama Mars conducts rituals to awaken ancestral forces, the veil between the living and the dead begins to thin. Shadows twist with memory, mirrors reflect forgotten sins, and the land itself begins to speak in blood. The spirits are no longer at rest, and the past is clawing its way back with vengeance.
It's horror on Cedar Block. Horror on Cedar Block.
Chapter 3. Ashes of the Ancestors. The night air was thick with tension as Sam Carter stood at the edge of the woods, staring at the burned remnants of what was once Mama Mars's healing shack. The scent of charred herbs still hung in the air. Sage, sweetgrass, and something else. Something rotten. The fire had been no accident. It was a message. Scorched into the land by the old blood enemies, those whose families had profited from the original sin, sown into Cedar Block's soil. His boots crunched over the blackened floorboards, each step stirring up ash like ghost breath. As he moved through the ruins, memories returned. Uninvited, Mama Mars hunched over her potions, humming that same low spiritual, that twisted reality, calling the spirits closer. Now, only silence and soot remained. The forest around him pulsed, alive with eyes that didn't blink. In the distance, a chant echoed through the moss-draped trees, a language long outlawed, whispered by spirits, too angry to rest. Mama Mars had warned him once, her voice crackling like firewood. What was buried in sin can't stay buried forever. Sam's hand brushed against something cool beneath a pile of scorched bones and shattered jars. He knelt and pulled out a brass medallion, its surface etched with Veve symbols, one for each deity his ancestors dared not speak of aloud. It throbbed in his palm like a second heart, pulsing with heat and memory. A wind, sharp and cold, sliced through the air. Sam turned, but saw no one. Then he heard her Mama Mars voice, right behind his ear. "You gon' need more than fire to kill me, baby. I'm still here." His spine stiffened. He didn't know whether to cry or laugh. The dead were louder now than the living. Back in town, the original settlers' descendants, the ones who held land soaked in slave blood, were beginning to die. Strange deaths. One woman collapsed in church, her skin covered in burn marks, though no fire had touched her. A man drowned in his bathtub, lungs full of salt water, despite living nowhere near the sea. Their eyes rolled back, their mouths muttering names they should have never known. The soil, it seemed, had a long memory. Sam returned to Mama Mars's house, its foundation still intact. Serenity met him at the porch, dressed in a thin white nightgown that clung to her sweat-dampened skin. The humidity pressed everything together, fabric to flesh, breath to breath. Her eyes burned with fury, and something else, desire, maybe, or madness. "She's still speaking to me," Serenity whispered, placing her palm on his chest. "Your blood's louder now." She hears it. Their lips met without warning. There was no sweetness in the kiss, only heat and desperation. The kiss was an exchange, a pact sealed in sweat and the taste of ash. When their bodies came together later, it wasn't love, it was war. The creaking floorboards beneath them sang of ancestors watching, approving, maybe even guiding. Each moan, each scratch across Sam's back felt like summoning, a binding. Blood for blood, flesh for flesh. Afterward, Serenity traced the medallion's shape on Sam's bare chest. "We're not just fighting for payback," she murmured. "We're fighting for memory." Outside, the wind picked up. The forest groaned. A shadow moved along the edge of the trees, lingering, listening. Papa Legba, perhaps, or something worse. Later that night, Sam built a circle of salt and bones behind the ruined shack. He lit candles with trembling fingers, his voice steady as he called on the counsel of the betrayed. The ground beneath him pulsed once, then twice. Then the voices came low, guttural, and angry. They spoke of whippings, of babies taken and drowned, of tongues cut for speaking the old languages. Sam wept. The spirits didn't comfort him. They didn't care for tears. They wanted action. A spirit of a young boy stepped forward, eyes hollow, rope burns around his neck. "Make them feel it," he said in a voice not made for this world, and Sam nodded. The ritual had begun. Vengeance had found its champions, and Cedar Block would never be the same. The wind picked up, carrying with it the scent of iron, ash, and jasmine, like the breath of something ancient waking up. Sam looked back at the medallion, still glowing faintly in his hand. It was warmer now, like it recognized him, or worse, claimed him. The symbols etched into its surface writhed in the firelight, whispering names Sam didn't recognize, but somehow knew were tied to him. Bloodline names, names erased from history and buried under shame. Thunder cracked above, but no rain fell. Just the low groan of the trees around him, bending toward the burned shack like mourners at a grave. A figure moved in the tree line, not quite shadow, not quite man. It watched him, head tilted, arms long and unnaturally still. Sam's breath caught. He didn't run. He couldn't. A heavy pressure pushed on his chest, freezing him in place. The medallion pulsed once more, and the thing vanished, leaving behind the scent of sulfur and a black feather at his feet. Later that night, back in the safe house, Serenity lit a single candle in the dark. Her back was bare, covered in protective sigils Mama Mars had etched years ago. Sam entered, and for a long moment, neither of them spoke. The tension between them sizzled like oil on flame fear, and desire braided tight. "You smell like smoke," she whispered. "I walked through fire," Sam replied. She turned to him, slowly, the candlelight tracing every line of her curves. Her eyes weren't afraid. They were hungry for answers, for vengeance, for him. When she touched his chest, the sigils, painted in ash, began to glow faintly, resonating with the marks on her back. Their breath synced, their skin igniting with a kind of touch that blurred the line between passion and ritual. But just as Sam leaned in, the candle snapped out. Darkness, a chill, and Mama Mars's voice echoed in both their ears. The spirits are watching, and they don't like foreplay without a purpose. In the silence that followed, Sam gripped Serenity's hand. Then let's give them a reason to scream. Outside, the trees bent just a little closer. A low hum filled the air like 1,000 bees trapped in a jar, and Sam turned sharply toward the woods. There, near the base of the twisted cypress trees, stood Serenity. Her hair clung to her shoulders in damp waves, and her eyes glistened with something ancient. She wasn't wearing her usual denim jacket and boots. No, tonight, she wore only a flowing black shift that clung to her skin with the mist, the neckline plunging like it dared the dark to swallow her whole. He wanted to run to her. He wanted to ask her what the hell she was doing out here, but his feet stayed frozen. She stepped closer, barefoot on burnt ground, leaving no footprints behind. The medallion in his hand grew hotter. Her gaze fell on it, then up to him. "It's begun, hasn't it?" she asked, voice like velvet wrapped around a blade. Sam swallowed hard, nodding. "I felt you. I felt. You too," she whispered, her breath warm against his neck, though she hadn't moved. Then, as quickly as she'd appeared, Serenity was pressed against him, her lips brushing his ear. "You think this is about vengeance, Sam?" she breathed. "This is about taking back what was stolen in blood, in sex, in power." He didn't pull away. Suddenly, the wind howled louder, and behind them, the ashes of the shack stirred violently. The medallion vibrated so violently in his hand it cracked down the middle. From the broken brass spilled a dark red vapor that formed into the shape of a woman's face, twisted, mouth open in an eternal scream. It rushed past them and sank into the earth, shaking the ground beneath their feet. Sam gripped Serenity's waist, steadying her as the earth rumbled. She didn't flinch. "That was Mama Mars," she said calmly. "She's calling the others." From deep in the woods came a howl, not animal, not quite human. The sound of something once caged, now freed. Sam looked at her, truly looked. "What are you?" Her smile was slow and wicked. "I'm what they tried to erase," and with that, she vanished into the smoke, leaving Sam alone, with only the medallion and the sound of drums in the distance. Tomorrow, they would raise the dead. But tonight, they danced with them.
Cedar Black. Horror on Cedar Black.